Hi, everybody. Thanks for stopping in. If you don't know me, I'm Scott Lawrence. I'm a headshot and portrait photographer based in Troy. So I serve kind of the Detroit area. And I focus pretty much exclusively on corporate and professional images. So mainly headshots. Um, as all photographers, and most of us here, we're under a stay at home order here in Michigan. And so I've been stuck sitting at home, kind of working on different things. And one of those is just to kind of work on a video initiative, just to do a little bit more video, add to my video presence, that sort of thing. And as part of that, I wanted to invite my friend Tiffany on, who's a makeup artist, just to talk about some makeup tips for those Zoom meetings, as I'm sure we're all doing quite a few of at this point. So welcome, Tiffany. Take a minute and introduce yourself.
So thanks so much. I'm Tiffany Elie. I have a team of makeup artists and hairstylists and specialists, and we travel on location. And I also do makeup lessons, things like that. So I am getting a ton of makeup questions from my clients. This is something very unprecedented. I had never even been on Zoom or any teleconferencing before this. And now it just seems like just a standard for connecting either for work, or now I'm doing Zoom calls with my girlfriends from high school, a little happy hour. So people are kind of noticing because you're looking at yourself on the screen and you're like, oh, I'm not looking so great. So, what can I do to look better in some of these Zoom calls? And just to preference, it's a no judgment zone. If you choose not to wear makeup and you're taking care of your skin and giving a makeup rest right now, that's awesome. Some people are finding that wearing a bit of makeup or putting a lipstick on just kind of brightens their mood. Right now, self care is important. You do you. Um, but for those who do want some makeup tips, here's a few that will really um, help to bring out your best features and camouflage the areas that you'd like to play down. So, for the first, the number one complaint I get as soon as anybody sits in my chair is under eyes. And the under eyes can make you look very tired, and we want to brighten that area. So, the key is two things. There are two different types of under eye concealers, or different types of concealers, I may say. One is for the face, and one is for the under eye area. So they're very different. The one for the face is more matte and it's going to stay better. The one for the under eye area is going to be very creamy, and it's going to blend right over that delicate skin and not get caught in any fine lines or wrinkles. So, what I like to do, you want to choose a under eye concealer that is one shade lighter than your natural skin tone, and that will brighten. Now, don't go too light or we notice the raccoon look, which we don't want. And then the trick is that everybody has a little blue purple vein right here near their nose area. So you want to make sure that you don't just go right under the eye. You want to start right where that blue vein is, and you want to go around. And a lot of people have underneath the lash line, they have a little redness or little small capillaries there. So you want to conceal and blend really well through that area. The second tip is that choose a color that has a little bit of peach or a little bit of terracotta, and that will color correct the purple veins in the blue. So, one shade lighter, creamy, and a little bit of peach is the trick for the under eye area. Okay.
That's good. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, people. I know that's a big concern, and for me, it's just a quick retouch in Photoshop when I'm finishing up the images. But on video, we don't have the luxury of retouching, so that's perfect. So
Yeah.
what's next?
So next is bronzer. So bronzer really can add definition to the skin. It can also make the skin look a little bit more chiseled. It could give you the appearance of a little slenderizing in the cheek area as well. So the key is number one, finding the right shade. So if you are fair and you've ever used a bronzer, sometimes they can look very orangey or terracotta. So I really love this product. This is by Benefit and it's called Hula Light. And it's great if you are very fair or moderately fair. It's not orange. So that's key. Then the next step is placement. And what I'm noticing a lot of times is that people go crazy and they make their bronzer really wide. You want to place it with a thin brush and go right under the cheekbone and blend up. Okay, that's the key. Then you don't have a stripe. And then I take it and you want to run it across your hairline, and that's going to add a little bit of a healthy glow. Okay, so that's the key is placement. And the great thing about this product is they give you a brush for free, like a little itty bitty cut off version of this. Okay. So I like that for fair, there's a special one. And then I'm like a medium skin tone. Think J-Lo. So you would use the original. And then if you have deep skin, there are two shades. Pick the shade that is just a little bit darker than your own natural skin tone. Okay. So there's not 12 shades. It's not confusing. There's four. So you'll find the shade that's best for you. Now, I also like these for bronzer. I really like to go matte in terms of formulation because you just don't want sparkles or shimmers. It's not like we're not going to a disco. We're in a Zoom call. So we don't need all the glam. So matte placement in the right shade is the key to having a nice bronze defined skin and you won't look all washed out in the Zoom calls. Okay.
Great, great.
All right. Um, and then the last piece that I like is to add a pop of color. And this is going to come with your lips and your cheeks. How do you pick the right lipstick for you? Make it simple. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Pick the lipstick, you get a million compliments whenever you wear that lipstick and everybody's like, "Ooh, that looks good on you." Okay, wear that one. If you like to play around and you have a drawer full of makeup and lipsticks, then the color for spring is crushed rose. So pull out your crushed rose, and I brought a couple examples. So this one is the color that I'm wearing right now, if you can kind of see it.
Mhm.
This is a crushed rose shade. This one is by NARS. It's called Taliti. Okay. And that's what I have on. And this is great for somebody who's fair or moderately fair and into medium. And then something like this will give you an idea. This is like a crushed rose shade. And this is for somebody with any skin tone. Looks great because it's a gloss. So you can kind of see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, so these are beautiful. So rose is the shade for spring. And whatever you do in your lips, you need to match the same tone on your cheeks. So the key is to smile and you want to pop a little pop of color and then go back and smile, pop a color and brush back. And then your cheeks and your lips will be coordinating. And then you won't look washed out. Between the bronzer and a little bit of color, you won't look washed out and you will look kind of fresh and natural in your Zoom calls. In terms of a little mascara and as much eye makeup as you feel comfortable with. But that kind of, those little touches are what I recommend. And I think they're very simple and easy, but you'll see the most bang for your buck.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks. Yeah, my daughter's been so she's a competitive dancer and she's been working on her stage makeup. So it's a little bit more to the extreme end, but she's having a good time and just keeping herself entertained. But yeah, I like the tips on the lip color of just going with what makes you feel best. I mean, that's something that I recommend, or that's a piece of advice I give for any sort of clothing too. Like you wear whatever you're most comfortable in, because odds are it fits you best, and you feel, just all around confidence builder. So good
Right.
tip. Um, on the flip side, we were talking, so we've got the makeup, and then I think the other thing to consider too is just your lighting and your camera angle of your Zoom setup. So I just wanted to touch for a couple minutes on those pieces. If you haven't already fiddled with that, there are a lot of things you can do, but there's really only a couple of key main points, and that's simply the lighting and the camera angle. And this goes for any sort of photography. First, with the lighting, if you're Tiffany, I know you're in your basement and your lighting looks great. You can't tell. I mean, you almost look like you've got a natural light source on you.
I do. It's
Oh,
behind. I have my makeup light
oh,
right in
perfect.
front of me shining. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So
That's about as best. Yeah, that's the best you can have. If you don't have something like that, the best setup is maybe to set up. Look for like a north facing window in your house. That's going to give you the softest light across the whole day. And you want to sit where it's not kind of super intense, but just a little softer, so that the camera can deal with it. Because most of our webcams are not that great. Even our iPhones are better cameras. Um, but you want to bring like the whole light level up, and you don't want the light coming in from the top. So if you've got an overhead light, like for me, it's going to shine on my forehead and not be so flattering. So a nice soft light source. If you've got a nice big open window and it just seems like it's too strong, you can just throw some sheer curtains over there, and that'll kind of soften it up a little bit. So that's something to think about. And then the other thing I see too is that you maybe got a good light source coming from one side, but the other side of your face is super dark. And one of the tricks for that is, it's the kind of the oldest photographer trick or kind of lighting modifier, is just to use a reflector. And that's can be something as simple as a piece of cardboard or poster board with white on. So if it's a white poster board, you can use that. Or if you've got some tin foil and a piece of cardboard or an old box, you can just throw some foil on that, put that on one side, and the light will come in across and kind of fill in that side of your face. So that's a super easy way to kind of bring up the shadow a little bit. And again, the cameras aren't so sophisticated, even on a good computer these days. That's kind of the one thing they cheap out on. Um, so that can make a big difference. And then the camera angle, if you're on a laptop, try to get your laptop up a little bit. So throw a few books underneath it. There's a lot of
that's what
fancy.
that's what
Yep,
I have right now. Because
yep,
otherwise, if I'm looking down, then all you see
yep,
is like a double chin.
yep,
And
yep.
I always tell my kids, I'm like, "No, no, no, you have to shoot mommy from up here." Like,
Yeah,
you can't. I'm like, "I need to lengthen my neckline. It's more
that's right.
flattering."
That's right. That's right. So a little bit above your eye line,
I'm
and
about 5 books right now
yep,
to get me going.
yep, yep. And it makes a huge difference because on a laptop you're kind of leaning
Mhm.
into it, and it's gonna, yeah. So it's just gonna give you, it just goes all the
Not so
way.
good. Not my
Not so good. Not so
best.
good. And I have to do the same. The same principles apply for me when I'm in the studio working with my clients. Is we got to get that chin out and get the chin out up and over the the neck, and we do that with camera angle tricks. So those are really the two main things. Is just kind of play with your lighting. Even if you've got a couple of lamps or like some directional like desk lamps or something, you can even bounce those off a wall. That can help too. And then get that camera a little bit higher than your eye line, and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah.
Um, so thanks again for stopping in, Tiffany. I think this was fun. Maybe we'll have to do a few more of these.
Yeah, would awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever people are interested in and have questions about, we can always regroup and put together some more informational videos. Love
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely. And so I know, you're available for calls and consultations. We're still trying to figure out kind of how we can integrate our services together until we can open up. But if anybody has questions, where's the best place? Should they go to your website or give you a call, or what? What do you
Yeah,
suggest?
website is great. You can email. It was so funny. I did a little blog about taking care of your skin and how to get a moisturizer tune up, and I had somebody reach out and we just did a quick 10-minute phone consultation, and I recommended some products for them. So I'm happy I'm here. I'm locked in my house and I'm not working. So I am happy to answer any questions that anybody has. So they can just send me a little email, and we can connect, and we'll
Great.
put, I'm sure you'll put the email
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'll put all that information in
Yeah, perfect.
the description, or we can overlay it here. And then, my studio is closed as well, so we're hoping, both of us have our fingers crossed that, but come June we'll be able to get in and start working. But you can book consultations with me through my website, so you just go to scottlawrencephoto.com. And then I do have actual sessions that we're scheduling out in June now. So again, fingers crossed that we'll be able to keep those. But if we do need to move them back, we can always push them back because I do have a promotion now, kind of the equivalent to booking with a gift card at this point. So check those out, and we will probably be coming back to you soon. So thanks again, Tiffany, and we'll see everybody later.
Bye. Thanks.